An area nonprofit is helping veterans succeed in their next chapter of life. It is called Career Gear Houston, and the organization is helping men overcome employment barriers through career development and personal attire. Joining us live to share more details about the services available through the nonprofit is Jamay Schardien, the Executive Director of Career Gear. And I'm sorry, I said helping men. Do you help men and women, or just the men who serve?
So female veteran can definitely come and take our Mission Possible training course. But as far as the professional attire, we have a sister organization in Houston where they actually go and receive their professional attire for their interviews.
Okay, very good. And so what are some of the challenges that you see with veterans getting out of the military? Is it employment? Is it finding good sources of income?
Sure, there's a lot of challenges there, and I think most of them are solved with gainful employment. My son, when he transitioned, his whole piece was, what do I do now, Mom, right? I had one of the most important jobs in our country, and now what do I do? And so helping them find what we like to call their new career is very important and vital to bringing down our suicide rate, to helping with PTSD, to just getting them kind of roped back into being a part of our society.
Yeah, having that confidence that you belong here.
Absolutely.
And that you've got a skill set that can serve in other aspects
and
of the world.
And we appreciate you and you're valuable.
For
you
sure.
know? I mean, that's one of the things I hear is like, what am I doing now? Like, I had something that was so important that I was doing, defending our freedoms, and now I need something that's just as important.
Yeah, which kind of breaks my heart a little bit that they would feel like that, but I understand that we as a society, we don't make it easy to transition back.
No, and I think it's one thing that our corporations really have to start doing is putting in veterans who are helping to hire other veterans. They speak a different language. That's one of the things that we kind of start addressing when we talk about resume development, is making sure that if your resume has acronyms in it, everything in the military is an acronym, right? These three letters that come together mean something to them, but to a civilian, we're like, wait, where did you go? What did you do?
It's a little bit intimidating, right? Like, what does this mean? I don't speak this language.
It's a totally different language. So even just breaking that down,
Sure.
and people just understanding that is a whole transition. It's like them being institutionalized, if you will.
What are the tips that you give veterans applying for jobs, aside from the resume help? Do you teach them maybe how their skill set translates to other jobs?
Absolutely. So translating their MOS is a very, there I go with a three-letter word. But translating
I was going to pretend I knew what it meant.
Translating what they did in the military is a really big challenge. And sometimes you have something that doesn't translate very well, right? When we're talking about maybe those who were shooting guns and that type of thing. Like sometimes those things don't translate very well, but if they want to figure out something that works for them, typically we go back to their personality traits. So that's one of the things we do, is we actually walk them through like a personality assessment, helps them kind of understand, I'm a personal person, so maybe being in a people service organization would be the best place for me to land.
Yeah, I mean, still, even if it's one of those skills like you just mentioned that maybe doesn't have an obvious translation, it can still be like, well, why do you like this? What from your past made you want to get into this?
Sure.
I can still decode it there somewhere.
Absolutely. And I can think of a veteran who came through who was like a gunnery sergeant. He works at a gun shop now. That works. I mean, he's doing what he loves to do.
I bet he loves it. Yeah.
100%. 100%.
Yeah. And so you had both a father and a son who served?
Yeah. My husband was in the Air Force.
Oh, and your husband
as
too.
well.
Okay.
My uncle, my grandmother. So I come from a long line of veterans who have served and written that blank check, as we say, to defend our country and defend our freedoms.
And you have a heart to help.
Absolutely. This is how I say I serve, right? It's by serving those who have served.
Oh, that is so crucial. It's so crucial. Tell me about the organization and how you are also helping other young adults, particularly those who were incarcerated.
Absolutely. And today, unfortunately, because I think a lot of times our PTSD with our veterans is not maybe being identified or treated in the right ways, or a lot of times veterans, they don't want to reach out and get help, right? They've been the ones who are helping. They're the first person to step up and say, how can I serve, not I need help or I need service.
And they have to suppress their own personal feelings so often,
Absolutely. And so we're starting to see a little bit of overlap between that veteran population and that reentry population, or what we consider justice impacted.
Yeah, you're doing that. Yeah,
exactly. And when you talk about those two demographics, again, that same word I used earlier, a lot of institutionalization, where we're having to break down those barriers that would prevent them from finding employment. Our veterans sometimes feel like people don't want to hire me because they can't figure out the system to get hired. And then our reentry, sometimes they feel like, well, nobody wants me because I've messed up. So,
yeah. So with the incarceration piece, how many young people who've been incarcerated have you been able to help and navigate into the
So
into the job market?
every year we serve over 500 who have a criminal record on one level or the other, and really it's just about helping them understand that there's a blemish in their background, but even during that time when they were incarcerated, they did something that developed a work skill, and that's what we like to promote. That's what we like to push. We work with them a lot of times on entrepreneurship opportunities as well. I like to say a lot of times they've done something that is where they have a business mindset, and we just need to get it kind of going towards something that's legal, and they can definitely find their place in the world. There are hundreds of businesses, thousands of businesses that are run by those who previously were incarcerated.
Yeah, that's actually fascinating, and I'm so happy that there's people like you in Houston doing this work. How can people reach out to you if they need your services? Are you open to taking on new clients?
Absolutely. So if you're a veteran, you can go to our website and sign up for our Mission Possible program, and that's going to help our veteran with translating his MOS into what he did in the military, into a civilian job, resume development, networking, and people being able to just do a 30-second elevator pitch. Like, that is a basic skill that we've lost because we're always on our phones these days.
That's
true. Just being able to introduce yourself, have a conversation. So we're teaching them those things. And the same thing for that reentry population. So our reentry program is called RISE, Reentry into Societal Excellence. And that helps those who have previously been incarcerated with doing the exact same skill sets that we work with our veteran on. So it's the same model, it's the same information that both demographics need, and we just have it taught by people who have been through that struggle. So our veteran program is taught by a veteran, and our reentry program is taught by somebody who's overcome that background.
Yeah, so they all speak the same language.
Absolutely.
That's helpful.
Absolutely.
What does it cost for a veteran to work?
100
for anybody to work for you?
It's 100% free to those who are in need of our services.
Do you run on donations?
Absolutely. So we run on donations. Monetary donations are important. So we have programs where individuals can actually sponsor a veteran or someone who's coming out of incarceration through our program. Our Champions of Freedom membership allows people to sponsor a veteran from starting with us all the way to employment. And the same thing for our reentry program. And then clothing donations. So we give away free professional attire. And so we always are in need of clothing donations. And I like to say we like the pinkies and the thumbs, right? So the larger sizes and the smaller sizes are always where we have a big need.
Where can people bring these things or donate these things to then?
So that's one of the most exciting things right now. We just moved. We have a brand new building. We're over off of West Glen, 8020 West Glen, right off of like West Park and 59.
Okay.
Not too far from here.
No.
And so you can bring your donations to our new building. We actually are going to be having an open house on the 6th of December. We love for people to come out, bring your donations on the 6th and tour the building with us. But they can bring them on Fridays, outside of that, Fridays, and the second Saturday of every month. We do take donations by appointment just to make sure that we have an easy flow of people coming in and being able to drop off their donations.
If people aren't familiar, West Park and 59, not too far from the Galleria area.
Sure,
so
absolutely, right around the corner.
Just so people have an idea of where you are.
Sure.
Thank you so much, Jamay Schardien. Thank you. I
Absolutely.
appreciate you coming into the studio again and telling us about your wonderful organization. I think you guys are doing great work.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back.